Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show.
We're working with Eve today. Side saddle work. This is one of my good days. I don't know how good I'm going to be up in the saddle, but I feel good enough with my leg pain to try to get up in the side saddle in this new configuration, because we're out here in my obstacles area in the back of my property. We have a vinyl two-step up, which isn't quite high enough. So I added this railroad tie block, and yesterday I tried it. It's a little bit tricky for me because my legs don't work as well as I wish they will, and I hope they will this summer. My surgery is planned for about 4.5 weeks from today, and then it'll be several months, if all goes well, before I can start doing this stuff again. So I'm going to have my team take over. We don't want to stop production. We want to keep moving on. And I know that I have people that watch my shows even when they're only 5-10 minutes long, because I keep uploading the updates. And when they're 28.5 minutes long, or around 28 minutes, well, then we go on to the next show. So I'm going to keep production, so please, even if you know I've had my surgery, unless there's any other notification otherwise, please stay in tune with the Urban Cowgirl channel, because we're going to continue to work on side saddle, on harness work, on the zebu pairs driving and pulling, and on anything else that seems appropriate for ranch horse versatility and farming using our livestock especially. Okay, now my side saddle, whether or not I've had my surgery, is my hope for the near future, for the next 6 months or so. And we've had a couple shows, one when we bought it and showed you how Katie, without any instruction at all, got up in it. We didn't really know what we were doing. We've studied YouTube. We've had many comments from very nice people who have watched the couple shows I've done, comments about how to do things better. We always try to mention those comments on my shows and follow them. And one thing is having this cinch crossed by the balance strap. We're even learning vocab while we do it. So yes, now we're doing it right, we think. My farrier's coming next week. We're going to make this bottom horn come down, oh, maybe an inch or so, because neither Angela or I, when we put our legs into the side saddle appropriately, feel that we have the ability to use this bottom horn for pressure, because it's about an inch away. All right, let's see if this is going to work. I've got my crop just to be my right leg on the astride side being the other side rather than the near side. Let's see if Eve will stand still. And you know, even though I'm feeling a little bit unsure of moving with Eve in the side saddle, Katie has. She's walked and trotted and even moved. In our last show, followed a moving object with Eve over her haunches, and Eve was great with those requests. I'm not actually going to try to go forward with Eve. I watched a show on RFD yesterday from a Hawaiian trainer who has taught all his horses to stand still. He said even, no matter how old he gets, even if it takes him a half hour to get in the saddle, and that's the hard part as you age, is getting in the saddle. He said, my horses all know to stand still, and the reason is, he gets in the saddle, he never asks them to step forward. He either asks them to back up and go gee or haw to the right or to the left, or to back up and then step forward. So I'm going to start doing that with Eve, because even though she's been pretty good about standing for us, we want her to stand as long as it takes for us to get in the saddle, and then we may do the same drill, the same fundamentals with her daughter Sadie, and maybe my other Morgan, Semi, my legacy to my stallion, my beloved stallion, who I had for 3 decades. Okay, so let's see if I can try this. Kyle, you know what I'd like you to do? Just leave the camera on us. As I used his shoulder yesterday, I don't quite trust everything yet. If I get moved suddenly, I went up like this. Can you hold this? Yeah, yeah. And I'm just going to use your shoulder. Yeah. Then I went up like this, and one more. Good girl. Good girl, Eve. There you go. Now I'm getting up above Eve, so that's a little scary to horses. But she's done it before. She knows. There you go. I'm on this barrel, which is half filled with water, so it's pretty stable. I've got the reins in my hand. Getting this mic cord out of my way so I don't accidentally pull the mic down. I'm going to scooch into the saddle. And that's why I have Angela up front with a visual block if necessary. It's all right. It's all right. You see, she, good. Woo, woo, woo. Good. And that's why I have Kyle here. Okay. Right now my legs can't take anything sudden. Everything I do is slow motion compared to the way I used to do things. And that's because of arthritis in my hip. There. Feels good. Now wait a minute. Let me get my right sits bone on the right of the saddle. Okay. And here is the cue that I'm going to use, either a dressage whip or a crop. It's all right to move. And you know, Angela got in the saddle the other day too, and both of us said, ooh, what an accomplishment. Let's just leave it at that, because it's a little scary to move, isn't it? It feels so different. Katie is very brave and very able, and you'll see in the show Side Saddle 1 for season 28 how much she's done in the side saddle, which gives me hope that I'll be able to get there. Now look, Kyle, if you can zero in here, look how far away this bottom horn is from my left leg. Let me, yeah, get a little closer. I want to be able to, with my leg, my foot in this left stirrup, use this horn for pressure when I need it. Kind of, I'm not sure what the pressure is going to be or when I'm going to need it, but right now it's just too far away, maybe an inch or so. So when my farrier comes next week, I'm hoping he will be able to bend this horn, which is metal inside. I've gotten emails about it from other side saddle people. It's all right. It's all right. Now watch Eve. Watch her body language. Yes. Yeah, look at her ears. She's listening to me. And of course, Angela is watching very closely, because you know what? This obstacles area that I have set up here all the time at Shadrack Farms is back by the creek bank. There are so many predators that live in the creek bank, and Eve knows it. It's all right. We have bobcats and coyotes and deer come up here, and who knows? Yeah, we've seen snakes back here, and actually Eve gets kind of concerned when she sees a lizard. So know your horse. So here we are in the obstacles area, and when we're done moving backwards and then maybe off to the right or left, one small step at a time, we're going to get off the saddle and just very briefly take you around and show you all the obstacles that we want to be able to do with Eve inside saddle. And we'll do them probably first forward, and then some of them even backwards. But even stepping down off a bridge into a square, whoop, is a little bit challenging. Oh, it feels real funny, let me tell you, doesn't it? It does. You feel like you're not stable. I don't know how Katie did it, but she did do it, so it gives us confidence that we can do it too. Okay, now, Angela, remember that horses have a blind spot just below their nose, so if you're going to use visual blocks, you have to come up a little bit higher. Okay. We don't want any sudden whatevers, and Kyle, if things start getting really rough, you're going to come and help. Okay, I'm going to ask for, it's kind of, we use 3 as our magic number. I'm going to see if I can get 3 steps back with Eve. Just straight back, so I don't need the crop. I just want to be stable. I want to look over her head. We do have the double reins on, which help us to maintain vertical flexion with Eve. Sometimes when she gets upset, it's all right. She loses her vertical flexion. I'm going to look over her head. And then, you know, you do get to use reins inside saddle just as they're accustomed to. As a matter of fact, reins on the side of the neck become all the more important. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Good. Good girl. Oh, there's a fly bothering her.
Easy. Easy.
Boy, it feels unstable here.
Easy.
Yeah. Off to the side. Whoa. Good. That was to the left. Now a G turn. Look to the G. And then while she's G'ing, whoa. Forward. Now a little bit. Whoop.
Easy, easy.
Okay, Kyle, why don't you come up here? I'm not sure I can get in position to get off the usual way. But you know, getting on is hard, getting off a little easier. So what I'm going to do, you've got hold of her, and Kyle's going to give me your hands cupped as if you were a barrel. Got it? And down we go. There we go. Okay. You know, you can use a fence too if you're in a pinch. Thank you, Kyle. Or, you know, people get scooched up into saddles sometimes just by bending your knee and having your helper make a cradle with their arms. So good. We're going to show you every step of the way here. There may be other people that want to use side saddle just for the fun of it, for the challenge of it, for the difference of it. I want to do it so I can continue to do ranch horse versatility, primarily first on Eve. Whether or not my legs and my hips get better, I want to get comfortable up there. I want her to get comfortable with the cues. I just looked where I wanted to go, and the reins, the neck reining, helped her to understand. You can use direct rein. You've got two hands, and you've got hands in the usual place, but if she gets real tuned into your body, she'll listen to your body. She'll feel the balance. Remember, a horse can feel a fly that lights upon their fur or a mosquito. So they definitely can tune in to what you're doing with your body, even if it's as unobtrusive as turning your head and looking in a certain direction. And I have to tell you now, having done that, because last time I didn't move and neither did Angela, it really feels weird. But having watched Katie in my last show, I think it was 28.3, but I'm not sure. This is 28.5. It was amazing how comfortable she seemed to get. Then when I suggested to her that we try to do some cow flag work at a canter or a slow lope because we have a longer run on the other side of our arena, she said, no, not yet. Not with Eve, because Eve doesn't do a nice slow western lope. She kind of gets excited and likes to speed up in her lope. And so we're going to continue to work on that. And let me tell you another exciting thing that's happening, and I'm seeing it in RFD TV in more than one place. There's a new discipline, a new association called Western Dressage. These are people that maybe don't want to wear a top hat, maybe don't want to bow when they go into the middle of the arena, but they want a light, responsive, cue-aware horse that they can trust and ask them even to dance, even a pee-off. So we're going to go in that direction, side saddle, a stride saddle, whatever it takes, because we're ranch versatile here, and we enjoy Western riding. And that's all for today at Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl. All right, you saw that it was a little bit iffy getting Eve to scooch up to the barrel. Then that's just something we continue to work on. Sometimes smaller steps are much harder to do than larger steps. We need to make her understand when we maybe a little bit of a stride crop, say a little bit over Eve. Move those haunches, or move those shoulders, or side pass over, which we have been doing some work in the side saddle to move those three body parts, but we need more work. Now, normally, in my obstacles area, we have 3 of these water-filled barrels, and we do wrapping around, very light work, forward and backward, choosing paths around the barrels. Right now, the ground is covered with deadfall. Usually by the end of the summer, we've had enough grounds maintenance help that we can pick up this deadfall, but you know what? In the meantime, aren't the trails full of deadfall? So You know, it's just something you want to get your horse used to, stepping on branches, on leaves, being careful not to step into a dangerous ground squirrel hole, which is sometimes hard to see when you've got deadfall. So the 3 barrels. Over here, and I made these all, these are very inexpensive obstacles. These are vinyl posts, 5-inch by 5-inch posts that we've connected with hardware, and we made a T. So we can walk through, turn, or back up, turn, or walk through straight, or back up straight. Very challenging, and I can hardly wait to do it in side saddle. Now here, we have a bridge, and when the horse steps on it, it sounds like a bridge. So you've got to make sure your horse is desensitized to stepping on wood. And then they need to look down into this box that we made with vinyl posts and step down into the box and not rush out. They need to wait and hear from the rider what it is that we're asking them to do. Either maybe walk out, G, or haw out, or a turn, an arc, maybe even a 360 turn on the haunches, walk back up to the bridge and out. Those are trail obstacles, not just obstacles. Those are things that you may have to do if you're out on the trail, which, by the way, in my opinion, is one of the most challenging things to do with a horse, because the trail has infinite obstacles. Okay, then I'm just going to point to some things. We have a couple of old sawhorses. I'm pointing to them. I'll walk towards them. That we set up with some PVC pipe strapped onto them. We need to side pass up. The challenge is to side pass up, lift the rope that serves as kind of like a cowboy gate, hold the rope in your hand, make your horse go through the opening between the sawhorses, back you up enough so that you can put the rope back out on the PVC. Well, maybe that doesn't sound challenging, but look where the sawhorses are. Under a bunch of eucalyptus trees, oak trees, deadfall falling down, ground squirrels running up. You need to keep their focus on a chore like that. And that can take sometimes many lessons to get. Over here are some 5-inch by 5-inch posts, but they are uneven. They're parallel to each other, but uneven off the ground. They're strapped to different sizes of wood. And what that is all about is asking your horse to know where their feet are. They can see. They ought to be able to see that one is a little higher on this side than on this side. The other one's a little higher on the other side than on the first side. They need to be able to pick up their feet, walk through or trot through those posts in both directions. And then look at all these yew trees. Well, yew trees are actually posts too. Posts in the ground. We do a lot of zigzagging through those yew trees, trying not to do knee rubbers, but challenging ourselves by making our horses being really supple, really light, and a flex in the proper direction. Now, if you happen to have to go on a road, and there happens to be something going on the road that has this dreaded yellow caution tape, well, if you've trained here at Shadrack Farms Obstacles, the horses look at that caution tape, they say, oh, I know what that is. And we get them to walk through, both from the ground, and sometimes if they're really good, we'll get up in the saddle because the distance between these two trees is a little bit of a knee rubber. And over here, I'm walking towards it, is another curtain. It's not caution tape. It's just different colored ropes, yellow, white vinyl. And we ask the horses, and that one is easy to do in saddle if the horse doesn't balk at the ropes, we ask the horses to go through. We want them to trust us. If we ask them to go through something, we want them to grant our request because we want them to have confidence that we wouldn't ask them to do anything that is dangerous. Over here, My cameraman's going to turn around. We call these the big steps. This is a pretty high step and big. Over here is a similarly sized step and not so high. We ask the horses to step on both steps and off the far end, or step on one, step on the other, and come off G or ha, right or left. It depends. We want them to wait for our request. We even can bring them up here and have them do a 180-degree turn and go back down, but not if they're being naughty. See, so we're training them to wait for our requests. Now here, it's almost like a circus, is a very solid, but very small, you're probably going to have to move your camera, similar step. We ask the horses to put their front feet only on it, and then to move their haunches, their hips, one way or the other, leaving their front feet on it, almost like when you see elephants do that kind of thing at a circus. Okay, we're almost done showing you all of the obstacles. It'll take many shows in the side saddle before we'll be able to do them. Here is what we call a balance beam. It's about 6 to 8 inches wide and about 8 foot long. And the horse is taught to walk across it with all force. It's pretty narrow. So you say, how can a horse do that? If they know that that's what you're asking, they'll do it for you. So going in both directions, we're going to teach them to walk across what we call a balance beam. We have obstacles hanging here that we can pull down and use. A tarp. Everybody knows how scared horses can be from a tarp. We drag it, we put it down on the ground, we ask the horse to step on it, allow us to pull it, allow us to touch their bodies with it. A 4-inch by 4-inch vinyl post with a rope. And the rope is long. We can pull the vinyl post behind us and have the horse accept the sound and the sight of pulling something when you're in saddle. Then we do a little jumping back here too. We've got a log and a stump that fell down years ago, and instead of hauling it away, I said, let's put it in the obstacles area, because, oh, how many times have you, if you're trail riding, been on a trail where there's a log or a stump that came down? And you've got to get your horse, if it's negotiable, to be willing to step over it or jump over it. So we practice here. Another thing I love to do is rope. I rope from horseback. I hope to be able to do it from side saddle. I don't need a horn because I don't dally. I rope just to be able to catch my target for various productive reasons here on our ranch. So we can put our horse in position with this, what we call a dry steer, and practice roping from the horse. And the horse has to accept the sound and the feel and allow us to position them properly so that we can catch the horns, which are just some water pipe. And the roping steer is made out of vinyl, so it doesn't rot. Almost done. This is probably going to be the whole show today, a whole half-hour show. It's taking a while to give you a preview of what we want to do. Probably one of the easiest obstacles when you first come to this obstacle area is our L. And it's made up of rails, so it's much closer to the ground. It's not 4-inch or 5-inch posts. And it's real easy to move around. All the rails are connected to each other in an L shape, and we can ask our horse in various places to go forward and turn, to go backwards and turn. So, depending upon how good your horse is listening to you and granting you your request, we use the L quite often just to warm up the horse. And then there's the good old crossbars, which are easy enough to move around. We can do it from the ground, we can do it from saddle, we can have various heights of the crossbars just by changing their position. And they're a great way to get impulsion from your horse, to get understanding from your horse, of your, especially if you do it from the ground, of your arms, your arm extensions. Now this is our teeter-totter. We've had many a show about our teeter-totter. We built it here years ago. All of my Morgans will go on it. Some more readily than others, but because it's made out of wood, it has rotted a little bit, and we don't feel real comfortable asking a horse to go on it anymore. I can ask my cows to go on it though, because they are little mini cows and weigh less than half that each of my horses. So that's it. I think I've shown you everything. This is a wonderful place to train your horse. We can use the driveway that I was on when I was showing you some of these obstacles to do log straight paths. We can pick up speed because the driveway is covered with a thin layer of sand, so we're not worried about hurting our horses' hooves. And my mini cows hang out right on the other side of the fence, and oftentimes they'll come out here to watch us. And that's real good, because a mini cow or two or three can be a distraction. And it can be perceived as a predator. So we can deal with desensitizing our horses to the mini cows when they come here or when we bring them here on purpose. Well, that's it. That's the obstacles area at Shadrach Farms. That's a little bit of a preview of us doing it with side saddle. And if you keep in touch with my show, whether or not I'm in the saddle, we'll try to let you know how it's going. Because there's probably other people in my age range, I'm 68, that are facing the same thing and have to make decisions. And it's not an easy decision, but you decide what you want in life, and you decide what risks you're willing to take and discomfort you're willing to go through in order to preserve those passions. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl.
See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.